Well, hello there, everyone. You Maddie Make 25 here, and basically you see right here is I went ahead and put together right here is a document that three documents actually that you're working right here with Adobe InDesign, and basically that I'm sure if most of us when we were kids that thinking about I'm like maybe if we had like a journal or a diary or something like that we want to write in, especially to where if there was anything related to maybe stress or in like it's like if maybe if there was anything that was concerning. But let's just say that right here is I went ahead and put together right here is like a document is that for like InDesign, and you have right here these pictures right here, and basically talking about for one file received. And let's just say that for like for the time goal though that you have right here is like for the time goal. And you see right here is that I went ahead and put together right here are the similar images from like talk about say for the brand new grade book, but talk about say for InDesign. And I can remember that if we were thinking about is to where that if we would have had access to this back whenever we were younger, like with me though, and like have anybody say at their especially at their work desk to where if especially in the classroom to where if they had these documents that they worked right here and like Warren to where necessarily to where that yeah that working right here. You have right here's the guides right here, the ruler. But other than that, like I'm sure any student will likely think anybody that if they just get on there and just looking at all these features and layers and stuff like that, and like Warren, that nobody really wants time or has time to mess with that. But let's just say that if we were to actually do the math to where it take about maybe 15 minutes just to kind of look at it and just to kind of practice with with the, studying the tools, I guess you say that a lot of times that usually helps to where you just kind of look at it and study to where what you see, and then if you have a variety of at least 20 options tools right here, and I'm sure if anybody were to think about like the time goal would be is like to one for one file receipt is that yeah they would like to write a book but then thinking about where they want to start and getting some ideas for like a program like for InDesign. And right here is like some information to where that if one of our time goals was to be is to where that yeah for one file received that to where it take about 15 minutes just to send in the information. I'm sure anybody say that yeah you've already sent it the file that the papers that you've already followed the directions, but then now it's like now they want to see something from back in 92. Now they want to see some from back in 2005 or maybe back in 2010, from the past 3 or 4 years of medical history or something like that. Like that was not on order. But so it's like we look at it as to where that really to where a program like this to where I could probably say if I would spend at least 3 hours on it and then maybe get somewhere and then thinking that yeah that there may be something pointing out to where something that wasn't done correctly, but for like for one file received if like the time goal were to be is to where yeah for like the time goal and then thinking that I'm like yeah go ahead and write my initial right here like for time goal, the time goal would be is like, yeah, that for understanding about the program here to where one file received, spend the time just to try and get something working and thinking about really that whenever it don't work, then maybe that's the time where you just want to set it aside. You don't want to mess with it. But let's just say that 15 minutes that more likely that you could maybe improve the skill. So just think about that. 15 minutes to spend on it and just kind of study about the the control panel right here, and then right here's the pictures though. It's like you think about it, after there's one thing that maybe you can do with the program, and one of those is maybe is to place a document or the pictures. And like thinking, okay, now what? It's like the select tool, and like you select right here. Okay, now what? I can now what? Like, now what do I do? I can, well, go ahead and if you want to add a paragraph and then maybe work on the pages and then, spend a few minutes on it just to kind of study about the program. And I'm sure anybody say that anything challenging such as for one file receipt to where if it's going to be a number of documents or something like that and just thinking about that really it's really hard. It's really hard, but then maybe after about maybe 4 or 5 weeks, just like if we were to be getting used to filing our taxes and other sources of paperwork and thinking about, I'm like, really, somebody's got to do it, no matter if it's you or somebody else, and just thinking about, if you would actually do it yourself, and if you can do it yourself, and then thinking about, I'm like, yeah, that really for like the time goal, what does time goal basically mean? To where someone may say that, yeah, that this is what you want to do, this is what that's what that what you recommend from your own time, without no rules and requirements, but they may say to where that I'm like, yeah, that you were they got what they needed to see, or they got what they asked for, but then now they want to see more information. What do you call that necessarily? I mean, do you call that to where that they know a little bit more about your work, or do they say, oh, you mailed us the wrong information? We asked you to mail that. We received that one file, but then now we're asking you to send us another. And like, well, like, well, well, we actually, we request to see more information. So a lot of times you're like wondering, what exactly does that mean? Whenever they order to see more information, or they may say, yeah, you sent us the wrong file. But thinking about, I'm like, yeah, it's happened quite a few times to where, I say that, yeah, well, guess what? I'm like, you can, you know, have somebody else deliver or whichever. But let's just say that if the time goal were to be, it's like, yeah, spend 15 minutes just to kind of study about understanding about what's required, what needs to be received. But other than that, I say for one file received, I say is like right here, from May 25, the documents, let's say with the copies, and I'm sure the way I usually say is like, yeah, is making copies and signing forms, is that really fun? Was it ever considered fun? But then I just really think though that really, I'm like, a neat opportunity to where you can learn a number of things away from how we're tested on about how the program works. But really is to where that really could it maybe be considered your best friend, and just thinking about whenever we look at a program like this, we look at the ruler and thinking about, really, I was not ever good at math, but really about, basic requirements about being a professional is knowing about, taking at least 15 minutes just to kind of understand about what needs to be done. And I'm sure you'll do fine. But other than that, it's like you work for the best. It's like you say, thanks for watching and have a great day.